Hey guys, Cameron here, and in this guitar tapping lesson I'm going to show you some ways that you can shred through the pentatonic scale using some two-hand tapping techniques. The examples that I demonstrate in this video are all going to come from C pentatonic minor. If we look at that scale and we play it from the lowest note up to the highest note, we see that there are two notes for every string. So let's start out by hammering on the first two notes with the left hand. Okay, then for these next two notes that would normally fall on the A string, what we're going to do is we're going to transfer those notes up to the low E string. So we were playing F and G there. So now we're going to use the right hand to tap those notes. So here I'm using the first finger on the right hand to tap F and the second finger to tap G. So we get... Now we've already used F and G, so now we're on to B flat and C for our next two notes. So we can go ahead and hammer those on with the left hand. And then for the following two notes, that's going to be E flat and F, that would normally fall on the G string. Well, just like we did before with the A string, we're going to take the notes off of this G string and move them to the string above, and then use the right hand to tap those notes. So we're going to find E flat and F. We have that here at the 13th fret and then at the 15th fret. So altogether on this string we're going to have. Now our next notes would be on the B string. We would have G and B flat. And so just like we did before, we're going to go ahead and hammer those notes on with the left hand, and then for the following two notes, which would normally fall on the high E string, we're going to tap those on the B string using the right hand. So here on the high E string we would normally have C and E flat. So we're going to take C and E flat. Okay, so here I'm using the first finger to tap C, that's at the 13th fret on the B string, and then I'm using the third finger on the right hand to tap that E flat. So all together. Now if we put all three of those strings together, we get this little sequence. So that's good to practice ascending and also descending. So when we're ascending, we're basically hammering everything on. But when we're descending, we're mostly using pull-offs. So when we're coming from the top of this B string where we had just hammered on that E flat, we're just going to pull that off but leave the first finger where it is so that we have the C note waiting. Then we're going to pull that off and we're going to have this B flat note waiting with the fourth finger, and then we're going to pull that off to get G. So now once we've pulled off all the notes on the B string, now we're going to have to come here to the D string, and the very first note that we're going to play is actually going to be a tap with the second finger on the right hand. That's at that 15th fret. So once we've done that, we want to have the rest of our fingers kind of in position already. So now we're going to pull off the second finger, and we've got the first finger waiting here at the 13th fret. Then we're going to pull that off where we have this C note here at the 10th fret with the third finger, and then we pull that off to B flat. So on that string. Okay, and now we're going to do the same kind of thing here on the low E string. So we're going to start with the tap with the right hand, second finger, and then pull it off. So now if we put the ascending and descending parts together, we would get this. So we can start really slowly and just make sure that everything feels very relaxed and controlled, and then we can gradually increase the speed. Okay, so now we can make a very similar type of sequence, but instead of using the 6th, 4th, and 2nd strings, we're going to be using the 5th, 3rd, and 1st strings. We're going to hammer F and G with the left hand, And then we're going to take the next two notes of the scale, which would be B flat and C, and we're going to play them on that same string. So we're going to have, so that's 13th fret, 15th fret. And we're tapping the 13th fret with the first finger, 15th fret with the second finger. So we get, okay, then we can come to the G string. So just like before, we're skipping a string. We're going to hammer with the left hand onto the E flat and F notes. And then for the next two notes that would normally fall on the B string, that's G and B flat, we're going to play those with the right hand, okay, on the G string. So here for G, I'm using the first finger, that's at the 12th fret, and then I'm using the third finger on the right hand to tap this B flat at the 15th fret. So we get, then we're going to skip a string one more time, and now we're going to be at the high E string. For the left hand, we're going to be playing C and E flat. So we're hammering on with the first finger at the 8th fret, and then with the 4th finger at the 11th fret. And then we're going to play the next two notes in the scale using taps with the right hand. So the next two notes in the scale are going to be F and G. So we're going to tap F at the 13th fret with the first finger, and then G with the second finger at the 15th fret. So all together we get, and then just as before, we're going to do the descending version by using pull-offs. And then when we get to a new string, we're going to hammer using the higher of the two notes that we're playing with the right hand. So in this case, that's B flat with the third finger. So, and then I'm going to pull off through the other notes, and then do the same thing on the A string. So all together, when we combine the ascending and descending versions of this, we get, and then we can gradually practice speeding that up. Okay, so now we're going to combine these two sequences by using this little connecting phrase. So the first part starts out just like our first sequence that started on the 6th string. So we're going to play the ascending version of that up through the first two strings of that. So that's the low E string and the D string. Then we're going to pull that off. And now, here comes the little connecting phrase. We're going to come to the next string down, which in this case is the A string, and we're going to play this. Okay, so there we've hammered onto the higher of the two notes that the left hand is playing, and then we're tapping the lower of the two notes that the right hand is playing. So, and then we pull that off. And now we're going to pull this off and start the next phrase, which is going to be like playing two strings worth of the pattern that started on the A string. So we're going to go. Okay, so now we've played those two strings, and just as before, once we get to the top of that second string, we're going to pull all of that off to get back down. And then we're going to come to the string that's below it, hammer with the higher of the two notes on the left hand, tap with the lower of the two notes on the right hand, and then pull back off, and then pull that off one more time to start our first note of our next sequence. So this is now the first note of the next sequence, and we do the exact same thing. So we're going to play up two strings worth, skip the string. Okay, once we get to the top of that, we pull all that off, come to the string below, hammer, tap, pull off once more, and then start the next sequence. Okay, we got to the top of that, pull off, come to the string below, and then, and now at the end there's an extra phrase to just cap off the whole thing, and so that's going to go like, so we pulled off to, this G note, then we come back to B flat, and then we tap at C, and then now we're going to pull off this C note to this B flat, but as soon as we do that, we're going to bend it up a whole step to get back to C. So again, the whole thing all together slowly. So just a few tips for practicing this stuff. Make sure that you really focus on getting a clear sound out of every note that you play. Don't focus on speed at first, focus instead on accuracy and precision. It's also very important that you stay relaxed as you're playing through this, particularly as you speed up. So with both hands, just make sure that you focus on trying to move the shortest distance possible from one place to the next. So try to avoid any big exaggerated movements. Try to keep everything as tight to the fretboard as you can. When you do speed up, make sure that you build up your speed gradually. Okay guys, I hope you've enjoyed it. If you want to get more tapping related content, you can check out my tutorial store. I'm going to leave a link down in the description for that. And if there's any other topic that you guys want me to cover in these YouTube videos, feel free to let me know down in the comments below. Okay guys, we'll see you next time. Cheers.